With all the winter weather we've been getting here in southern Ontario, the snow isn't the only thing many of us have to worry about. It's also the bitter cold. Whether you're out shoveling your driveway, walking the dog, or looking for warm shelter, there are a number of signs and symptoms to be aware of. Dr. Nicola Mercer, the Medical Officer of Health for Wellington Dufferin Guelph Public Health, is here to break it all down for us. Dr. Mercer, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's start with some of the risks or dangers of being out in extreme cold temperatures and just snow safety in general here.
So I think I'd like to break it down what the risks are, whether you're prepared or not prepared. So if you are an outdoor worker, you're probably more prepared. You know what you're going into. You dress in layers, and many of them also have sort of those built-in little battery-operated heating vests, the things to keep them warm. If you're sending your children outside to play or sending them off to school, it's really important to dress them in layers to make sure that they are covering those parts of the body which are much more likely to freeze, and for people to not realize it. So sometimes it's the tips of your nose, your fingers, if they take their gloves off, their toes, and especially if they get wet. So as part of their snow, if they step in something or become wet, then that increases the danger of frostbite and those parts of the body freezing. So it's really important that you are prepared in this type of weather. And that means also that if you're out driving, you're thinking, okay, I'm just going to work, I'm going from my garage to a parking garage. It doesn't mean that along the way that you may have a reason to be outside. Either your car gets stuck or stalled, or even a minor accident. So always be prepared, even in your car, to have extra layers of clothes. Make sure you have gloves, a hat, extra windshield washer fluid, just in case your car runs out of that. Some people carry a small shovel as well, in case you need to dig yourself out. There are many things that can help in our Canadian climate to keep you safe and help you to get from point A to point B.
Absolutely. And when it comes to the signs or symptoms of frostbite or hypothermia, what should people look out for?
Yeah, they can be subtle, especially in people who can't tell you that they're experiencing frostbite. So young children or children in general, seniors, those who are potentially aren't communicative to you. So the things I would worry about is the area that is affected will look very white. It will feel cold to the touch. It may even feel hard to the touch. Also, you have to take the clinical context. So meaning that has this person been outside for a long time? Have they been someplace where they can get frostbite? I really just have a low degree of suspicion. So if you think your child or somebody you know, or yourself, your limbs are getting very cold, make sure you get out of the wind and get out of the cold. And if you have any concerns at all that you or somebody you love has experienced or has frostbite, then you should seek medical attention, because there are different levels of how severe it can be. Some of it is minor, and some of it can be very significant and can cause a loss of the tissue if it's very severe. And so there are things that medically we can do to improve the outcome. So really important that you seek help.
Got it. And how long can it take for something like frostbite or hypothermia to kick in?
That's a great question, and it really depends on the temperature that we're dealing with, as well as the wind. So it can happen very, very quickly in extreme cold conditions. So if you're down to past minus or lower than minus 35, that's extreme cold, and it can take just a few minutes for exposed flesh to freeze. So that's the time when you shouldn't have any exposed flesh. So you should be ensuring that if your child is ever out walking or playing in very extreme cold, that every part of their skin, including their face, is covered so that they do not get frostbite. But it can happen very quickly.
Right. And aside from layering up, what do you think is the best and safest way to warm someone up?
Well, it depends on your situation. So if you're in a hospital, in a medical situation, we actually have warmers, blankets, ways to warm people slowly over time, actual things that are a little bit like a hairdryer in a blanket to actually warm people. So medical situations are different than if you're in your home. So if you are someplace remote, maybe you're in a cottage or someplace where you don't have access to medical care right away, and you're trying to get there, in the interim, the most important thing is to remove anything that's wet, because cold and wet go together. So remove anything that's wet. Make sure the individual is dry. Put as many warm layers on as you can. And also, if you're by yourself, if this is something that you are by yourself, you can't get help, again, remove what is wet. Try and put new layers on, and then tuck those parts of the body that are very cold. You can do so by putting them in your armpits, putting them in your groin. You can put your hands in places where your own body can provide that warmth. And you can do that for, if you have a child, you can actually use human heat to also warm a part of the body that is frozen. So the ideal situation is actually to do this medically and to go to a place where you can be treated. But if that's not available to you, those are some other strategies to slowly warm the body area.
All right, lots of helpful tips there, Dr. Mercer. Thank you so much for this. Stay warm and stay safe.
Bye-bye.